The money didn't disappear. It just didn't come to you. Picture this. A government announces a rescue. Trillions created. Markets cheer. News anchors smile. And somehow your rent still goes up. That's not a glitch. That's the system working exactly as designed. Right now, this matters because printing money isn't rare anymore. It's routine. Emergency buttons get pressed during crises, then again during slowdowns, then again because the last time didn't hurt much. So the question isn't, does money printing work? The real question is simpler. When new money appears, who touches it first? Because first matters. Let's rewind to the moment money is created. Not metaphorically, literally. Governments don't fire up giant printers and drop cash from helicopters. Most new money is born quietly, inside balance sheets, inside banks, inside institutions you'll never walk into. It usually starts with the central bank. They buy government bonds or financial assets. They don't use tax money. They type numbers into existence. Those numbers land somewhere specific, not in your checking account. They land with big banks, financial institutions, and asset holders. This is where the story splits. Imagine a bakery that gets flour before everyone else during a shortage. They set prices before the crowd even knows flour is scarce. That's what early access to new money does. The first receivers don't feel inflation, they cause it. Banks lend the new money. Funds invest it. Corporations borrow it cheaply. Asset prices move first. Stocks, bonds, real estate, art, anything that already costs a lot. By the time the money reaches wages, prices have already adjusted. That delay is everything. This effect even has a name, though almost no one uses it in public. The Cantillon effect. It's not a conspiracy, it's just math plus timing. If you receive new money early, you buy assets at yesterday's prices. If you receive it late, you pay tomorrow's prices. Same dollars, different power. Now let's talk numbers. After the 2008 financial crisis, central banks flooded the system. Trillions. Official inflation stayed low, but asset prices exploded. The stock market more than doubled. Housing prices soared. Wages barely moved. During the pandemic, it happened faster, even bigger, even louder. Stimulus checks made headlines, but those checks were a tiny fraction of the total money created. The real fire hose went elsewhere. Corporate debt markets, financial backstops, asset purchases. That's why markets recovered in months, while households took years. Here's the uncomfortable part. Money printing doesn't create wealth. It rearranges who claims it. If you already own assets, you benefit. If you rely on wages, you chase. This isn't about rich versus poor in a moral sense. It's about position in the system. Ownership beats labor when money expands. And the irony is thick. The policy is sold as help for the economy, but the economy is not a person, it's a network. Some nodes are closer to the source. Now let's address the obvious counterargument. If printing money helps stabilize the system, isn't that good? Sometimes yes. Crises are real. Systems freeze. Liquidity matters. But stabilization for whom? When markets expect rescue, behavior changes, risk grows, debt piles up, because the downside feels capped. Privatize gains, socialize losses. Quiet humor moment here. If you ran your personal finances this way, you'd be banned from every bank on earth. Zoom out and the stakes get bigger. When money printing becomes normal, trust becomes fragile. People stop asking, is there growth? They ask, who's closer to the spigot? Politics hardens. Asset bubbles inflate. Young workers feel like the game is rigged because structurally it is. Not by villains in a room, by incentives baked into the plumbing. And here's the final twist.
The people who benefit most from money printing don't talk about it. They talk about innovation, productivity, confidence, because explaining the mechanics makes it uncomfortable. It reveals that inflation isn't just rising prices, it's a silent transfer. So, next time you hear the government printed money to help the economy, pause. Ask a simpler question. Who touched it first, and who paid for it last? Because the answer to that question explains far more about modern wealth than almost any headline ever will.